Hello. Okay, I think we're live.
I think so. This is an
Sweet.
exciting day.
Yes, I want to welcome everybody to the Blueprint to a High Converting website. My name is Katlyn Slocum. I'm going to be teaching the webinar today, and this is hosted by the lovely Audrey Grubesic with Offsite Dirt. Thank you so much for coming. I'm hoping it'll be packed with plenty of helpful information for you. So let me go ahead and share my screen. In the meantime, please introduce yourself in the chat. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what industry you're in. Just get that chat going, and we'll get started here in a second.
And just for the people that are coming in, thank you for making the time to be here with us. We know you have a ton of things going on in your schedule, and we love being able to give back to the community. And this is just one way that Katlyn is giving us services for free. And there isn't a business out there or a business owner that really doesn't have a website. So being able to have this information and be able to share it with you in this free platform really is just such an honor. So Katlyn, thank you for allowing this to happen. And I'm so happy that I get to be along for the ride.
Yes, thank you so much for that. All right, so I just posted a reminder. Please introduce yourself in the chat, your name, your industry, where you're from, and we'll go ahead and get started. Oops, I want to make sure I'm in the right tab. Getting the technical parts of this is like the hardest thing, guys. And even though I'm a web designer, I get messed up a little bit. Okay, perfect. So the world of web design and digital marketing and SEO, it's so packed full of information and tools and strategies. I know that for any business, it can be very overwhelming. So my goal today is to make it a bit easier to understand, but if at any point you have questions, please post them in the chat. There's on the right-hand side of our presentation over here, we have a chat box. That's the very top, but the one right under that is going to be your Q&A box where you can submit a question, and we'll save those for the end. We do have a Q&A segment, and Audrey's going to be keeping track of those questions, and then we can address those at the end. And then just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. I think everybody's automatically muted, so we don't have to worry about things like that. Oh, it actually looks like I already covered them. Enter your questions in the Q&A, and then, like I said, introduce yourself in the chat. Not many more housekeeping items from there. With that, Audrey, I'm going to leave you up the whole time. How about that? See your beautiful face during the presentation. Okay, perfect. All right. So, Audrey, go ahead and introduce yourself as the host. We would love to and share with our audience a little bit about you.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for allowing me to be in this presentation. I've been super excited about it and pumped up for the last couple of weeks. Individuals and people can always connect with me on LinkedIn. My name's Audrey Grubesic. I'm the founder and owner of Offsite Dirt, which is a media company for the offsite construction industry. We talk about high performance, modern methods of construction, and really this platform has been around for about 4 years. We have about 10 contributing columnists and people that do interviews. We have over 200 videos there. I grew up in Illinois, kind of outside of the Chicagoland area in Hinsdale, and I'm currently living in Savannah, Georgia. I have 2 amazing college athletes. One's a baseball player, Jake, and my daughter, Jessie, is a volleyball player. And my husband is actually a coach at Savannah State. So we are constantly in activities and athletics, as you can say. I have a plethora of industry knowledge over the last 7 years, which doesn't seem like a long time, but the offsite construction industry is growing. And I have been on a tremendous amount of podcasts. And then most recently, probably in the last 6 years, I have a consulting company called Modular SureSite. And Modular SureSite offers solutions to developers and builders if they're looking to do their first project in an offsite solution, whether it be volumetric, panelization, maybe a container product. But it's a little bit different than traditional business. And so we're just kind of transitioning and helping our clients be able to create their pre-construction team. And in that process, I was lucky enough to meet Katlyn, and she also gave us and utilized some of her expertise in helping us with our defining website on Offsite Dirt. So big fan, super proud to be here. Sean and Marley, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Stephen, thanks for being here. I'll be keeping track of your questions and can't wait to see what we can learn next.
Yay, thank you so much, Audrey. Audrey is a rock star in the modular construction world, and like we see, just has so much industry knowledge. So very happy to have her hosting me today. So let me introduce myself. My name is Katlyn Slocum. I'm the creative director, website strategist, and owner, one-woman team of Katlyn Slocum Design. We are a website design studio based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And what we specialize in is building high converting Squarespace websites for the construction industry. Specifically, I work with a lot of custom home builders, general contractors, but really any service-based business in construction is my bread and butter. I'm what you would call a strategy-led designer, meaning before I consider what your website will even look like, my main goal is always on how your website will perform and the results it's going to get you. So getting real results for my clients that make a huge impact on their businesses is something that I'm very passionate about and is my top priority. I was born and raised in southern Minnesota. Well, not born, I was born in Illinois, but raised in southern Minnesota and grew up there. My entire family background is in trade-related businesses. All the men in my life were in the trades and they also own their own businesses. So I got to watch firsthand how hard they worked and how they grew those businesses. It was the automotive industry, the roofing industry, HVAC. My husband today is an electrician. So I've just been surrounded by these blue collar men and women in my life. That has been a tremendous honor. I've recently been featured on the AFT Construction podcast with Brad Levitt, as well as Contractor Sense, Bridging the Gap podcast, Art of Construction, Conscious Builder with Casey Gray, and Profit Tool Belt. And last but definitely not least, I am a full-time mom to a 4- and 5-year-old boys. So I definitely have my hands full, but we're loving life over here. So that's a little bit of my background. Quickly, this is what we're going to go over in today's agenda. So the first thing, we're going to talk about the importance of having an online presence, even if you're thriving on referrals. Knowing the difference between marketing and sales tools, especially when it comes to websites. Is a website a marketing tool? Is it a sales tool? Is it both? And why that matters. What are conversion rates? Why do they matter? And then practical ways to increase conversion rates on your website and land more business. That's where we're going to get into the blueprint, and I have 6 practical tools for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is, what has your primary sales channel been in the last year to 3, 4, 5 years? It might have been word of mouth referrals. Maybe you're using paid platforms like Home Advisor or Google Ads, social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Kind of think of what your main inquiry channels are. And what I want to draw out is, in the last few years, has definitely shown us that anything can happen. Like a couple years ago, Instagram crashed for like 2 days. It was a huge deal, especially for businesses that were growing most of their stuff on Instagram. Algorithms change on Google all the time. So my point is, it's not safe to put all of your eggs in one basket. If you're using third-party sites or advertising platforms or whatever you're doing for your marketing, those are all great ways to market your business. But if any of these marketing channels go out of business, decide to change their algorithm, your leads and your business could drastically change overnight. Your website, on the other hand, is a business asset. It's something you have complete control over, at least you should, and that you own, and is not dependent on these other third-party avenues. So it's more critical now, more than ever before, that you have your own business asset, you have your own website. And if you already have a website, that you make sure that it's something that's actually working for you. I talk to so many people that aren't getting any results or use out of their website, and it's just kind of sitting up there taking up space, time, and money. And that's not something you have to settle for. We want to build websites that actually work for you and make your business money and is a valuable asset to your business. So a common thing I hear is, well, Katlyn, we don't really need a website. because we do all our business through word of mouth. Number one, I want to say that's very amazing. Most of my relatives who ran their trade-based businesses, a lot of their business was from word of mouth. It's still one of the most valuable like forms of marketing. It's definitely not something to ignore, but that doesn't mean that you don't need a website. I've been referred several people, and every single time I even get a referral from somebody, the first place I go is their website, and most people are the same way. So the referrals that are being sent your way are still going to check you out before reaching out to you. You have maybe even missed out on referrals who got your company name and info, but never reached out because of what they saw or didn't see online. So we're going to be chatting about the power of a website for your business. It's not just a digital business card. There's many purposes for a website and how they can effectively serve your business. The first one is that it builds brand recognition. So whether you work with homeowners in a residential space or with major corporations, architects, engineers, or you're in a commercial or an industrial field, it's important to build that brand recognition and trust with your clients. This is especially important if you're selling a high-end service or product where people are spending a ton of money with you. They don't just hand over that money with the snap of a finger or just looking at something once. They're doing their research. They're going out there and seeing what they have available to them. They're getting their questions answered. So it's very important to build trust. And that's one of the major ways that your website can serve your business, is building trust. Converting more customers heavily relies on building up that brand recognition. It's a great way to establish your brand as well and show consumers what makes you different from your competitors, and helps you build trust in their minds before they spend money on your products and services. When done correctly, it's also a consistent lead generation tool. It can become the hardest working employee in your business. Again, when done right, and working day and night to build trust, guide potential clients through the buying process, answer questions, and generate leads. These are just a few things that your website can provide in a powerful way for your business. But if you're here at this webinar, there's a chance your website isn't being utilized to its full potential, if I had to assume. The problem or problems that need to be solved is figuring out how to turn your website into a profitable lead generating machine for your business. So one thing I want to have as much engagement in here as possible and just kind of brainstorm. So let me know in the chat what you feel like isn't working for your website, if you feel comfortable sharing. I know a lot of people are happy to share their aggravations about things, and our websites can bring up a lot of aggravations. So let us know in the chat, what's not working? What are you frustrated by? Do you receive inquiries through your website or no? If you do, are they quality inquiries? Are they people you want to be working with? Or are they kind of just a waste? Or are they spam? Are you having trouble attracting the right type of clients? Is your website outdated, or do you feel like it doesn't represent the quality of work that you do? Is it expensive or difficult to maintain or to update it? These are just some things, some hassles that websites can cause. So definitely let me know, what are you struggling with? What's going on your website right now that you would like to see different? Most business owners I chat with are dissatisfied with their website to some extent, but they can't always put their finger on where the problem lies. This is where website strategy comes in. But before we get into web design strategy, I want to make a distinction between marketing and sales. In order to get more sales, we need to first get people to land on your website, and that's called generating traffic. This is what marketing is. Marketing is the things that you do to get people to your website. Many people think that their website is a marketing tool, and to an extent it is. It's part of the marketing tool belt, and you're still sharing information about your company and answering questions through your website. But simply having a website doesn't mean that people will see it. A harsh reality that most of us face when we put our website online. We need to be marketing to drive people to our websites. And then once we get that traffic, the next step is converting those website visitors. We'll talk about this more a little bit later, but converting those into, conversions, what you want them to be doing on your site. There are a number of ways that you can direct traffic to your website. We're not going to go into full detail on the marketing methods, but some examples are paid ads, things like Google ads, Facebook ads, Home Advisor. These are great for a quick return on your investment, The only problem is you have to keep investing and investing and investing and running more and more ads to keep getting that return. And if any of those ad channels change their algorithms, that can have a big impact on your business. Again, it's a third-party platform. So you're paying for ad space that you don't have full control over. There's organic SEO. That's like ranking your site higher on Google. So if somebody searched, I'm just going to use a home builder as an example. They're searching custom home builder in Denver, Colorado. Your website shows up at the top. They got really great organic SEO. They're populating in the search results for those key words that people are searching for. If you're not on the first page, the amount of people who land on your site dramatically decreases. I mean, think of the last time you went to the second page of Google. It just doesn't happen. So organic SEO is working to get your site ranked higher on Google, preferably on the first page. And then there's Google My Business, which I don't think I put on here, but I love Google My Business. It's a free profile Google offers. And Google is a monster. It has 92% of the market share of online search. So everyone uses Google. Using their free tool is a great way to increase your organic reach, update your business information, share what you have to offer, interact with clients, get Google reviews. While you have less control of who can see this and how high up it populates in the search results, it's still a very valuable tool that every business should be using, especially because it's free. And so if you're on a budget, that is a great starting point. Others include email marketing, social media, word of mouth referrals. You got radio ads, physical ads and signage. So these are all marketing channels. So through whatever methods of marketing you're using, let's say people are making it to your website. That's awesome. We definitely want traffic on our website. But now what? This is where we get to sales. Your website should act more as a sales tool than a marketing tool. Once we've driven that traffic and those users to your website through marketing, it's time for your website to do the selling. And this is where a lot of websites fall short. They're simply not doing the selling they're supposed to. So what you sell varies from industry to industry and business to business, but what we need to make sure is that people are taking the action you want them to take when they land on your site. So let's talk conversion rates now. Conversion rates can be measured many ways depending on your unique goals. When someone lands on your website, what is the thing that you want them to do? Do you want them to fill out an inquiry form? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to book an appointment online or make a purchase? Maybe subscribe to your email list. There's lots of different ways that you can measure conversions based on the action you want them to take. So a conversion is when a website visitor does the thing you wanted them to do when they made it to your website. Oftentimes it's call volume or inquiry volume, but that's not always the case. You could have, a blog-based business or a blog website. They probably want to track more of website subscribers, people who are subscribing to the blog and things like that. So it definitely, or a product-based business, they want to sell their products. And so they're measuring their sales conversions. So a strategic website is going to be built around your unique goals, primarily around what you want users to do so we can increase those conversion rates. For those of you, again, who for those of you who are spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on marketing, some larger business spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing, whether that be ads or social or whatever it might be, this is why conversion rates are so important. If you're spending all of that money to get people to your website, and your website isn't converting that traffic into leads, your money is getting thrown into the trash. Your website is essentially a leaky bucket, and when all that traffic comes in, it's falling right through the cracks. So what you need is not more money spent on marketing. What you need is to figure out why your website isn't capturing those leads. There's no point in marketing if your website is dropping the ball on all that beautiful traffic that you spent a ton of money to get there. This is why it's so crucial to not only look at marketing performance, but your website performance. So what we want to do is increase the amount of times the action that you want them to take happens. We want to increase your conversion rates. Now, it's worth saying that for a service-based business, I know that there are two parts to the conversion process. You have the website conversion, so that's having an inquiry come in. They fill out a form on your site or whatever it might be, and then it comes in. And then you have to actually make the sale, and that's usually done on a sales call or an in-person meeting. So there's two conversions that you're going to track. So it's important for you as a business to know those numbers, like know, like for your sales team, what is your, when you get on a sales call, what's your conversion rate on sales calls? Let's say 10 people reach out to you, you have 10 inquiries from your website. Out of that, those 10 people, how many of those are you landing? So knowing both the website conversions and the sales conversions is going to be helpful in how you move forward with your website strategy. By knowing these numbers, you can set realistic goals for your website performance. Like if you know that you can book 1 out of every 100 inquiries, you can then start to figure out how many inquiries you want from your website each month. And that helps you determine how much traffic you need and so on. You kind of do like backwards mathematics. I book 1 out of 100. I get 100 leads a month. That means you're getting 1 job a month. And so if you want to increase how many inquiries you're getting, you need to increase your traffic and then make sure those conversion rates are on point. So let's take a look at an example that might not have made sense, but hopefully this example makes sense. Let's look at an example to see what a difference in increasing website conversions can make. In this example, I have kept average job price and website visitors or traffic per month the same. So let's say the average price of a job, I know this is on the higher end. Remember, I work with, construction industries, but this will look different for every business. But let's say the average price of a job is $100,000. You get 5,000 website visitors per month. How many jobs you get is dependent on 2 factors. So the first is how many conversions you get from your website. So out of 5,000 website visitors, well, let's just say you get 50 inquiries. That's a conversion rate of 10%. No, 1%, I believe. Now I'm doing my math wrong. Oh my goodness. But the second is how many people actually book with you. So let's say out of 50 inquiries that you get from your website, you book 5 jobs. That is a conversion rate of 10%. So out of 1 out of every 10 calls, you're booking a job. So you get 50 inquiries, you're booking 5 jobs. That's $500,000 into your business. I'm not going to talk. Let's see. So let's say we keep the average job price the same, the sales conversion rate, and the website visitors per month, and just increase how many conversions you get through your website. You can, just by changing the website conversion, you can dramatically boost your sales and grow your business through the work your website's putting in for you. So we're keeping job price the same, website visitors the same, and your sales conversion rate the same. If you just get 10 more calls per month, that's a web conversion rate increase of only 1%. That's 1 more job booked and an extra $100K in sales. And quite possibly you can do a lot more growth than just a 1% increase in your website. From, let's just say we double it. We go from 50 inquiries a month to 100. And based on your 1 out of 10 calls sales rate, that's 10 book jobs. That's an extra $500,000 into your business just by focusing on your website conversion rates, keeping everything else the same. So a lot of times we think our website, it's good enough, it's fine. But this is potentially a lot of money loss. Even this $100,000 just from 1 or 10 more inquiries per month, an increase of their conversion rate from 1% is $100,000 more into their business. So the smallest change in conversions can drastically improve your or help you scale your business. So now that we've talked about the difference between sales and marketing, the power of your website, and what conversion rates are and why they matter, now we can get to what we're all here for, and this is the blueprint of a website that converts browsers into buyers. Now, a strategy-driven website is going to vary from business to business and industry to industry because strategy is unique to the unique goals and objectives of those businesses. But there are key elements and factors that should be applied to every website, no matter the industry, no matter your business, that get you the best results. So we'll be kind of taking a look at strategy from like 10,000 feet in the air at 6 key elements for a high converting website. And then at the end of this webinar, I'll also be sharing my free download, which has 10 more ways, simple tweaks that you can go in on your website and make changes to start getting better results right away. So the 6 things we're going to be talking about is our messaging, imagery, mobile friendliness, social proof, clear pathways, and strategic inquiry forms. So the first one is clarifying your messaging. There's a quote that I love in the design world that goes, design primes and copy sells. Design, an effective strategic web design gets the user interested and engaged. But what really does the selling is your written content and also your imagery, but your written content, persuasive, engaging content. Good copy without good design won't convert, and good design without good copy won't convert either. So what exactly is copy? Copy is the words you use on your website or any other marketing material. It's written content, it's about you, the services you offer, anything, any written content that you have on your website or your marketing material. And the goal of that copy should be to get the people reading it to take the action you want them to take. That's a lot easier said than done. If any of you have tried to sit down, pull out a Word document or a notebook and try writing about your business or your company, it is one of the hardest things that you can do effectively. But believe it or not, there is real data behind copy that converts. Design is not enough to sell. Copy is a critical element of a high converting website. So let's take a look at this website for a second. This business is called Scott's Cheap Flights. They're a very great example of website copy. So if we're just looking at the headline, never overpay for flights again. It's very short and simple, but more importantly, it tells you right away how the service can benefit me. It's not, they could have easily said something like, at Scott's Cheap Flights, we offer discount airfare. That's really clear. It says what they do, but that's talking more about the business and what they offer, when this headline right here gets to the core of what the consumer actually wants. And it's clear, never overpay for flights again. Immediately I'm intrigued. No one likes overpaying for flights. I would be signing up for this. So writing copy in a way that captures attention and speaks to the end user is super effective and persuasive. And in this digital marketplace, it's so important to capture attention instantly and to hit to the core of what people really need and want. So, and quite frankly, people don't really take the time to read everything on your site. They don't care about what you do. They care about how you are going to make their life better, easier, more affordable, whatever those benefits are. They care about how you're going to solve their problem. Now, this isn't to say that including information about your company or answering questions and explaining what your business does on your website isn't valuable. That's 100% important information, especially from an SEO standpoint. But the key is how you do it, the art of writing that content in a way that resonates with your ideal clients and then gets them to reach out is where strategy-driven content really can have a huge impact on your website. This is another example from the custom home builder world. I built this site for Brad at A Finer Touch Construction, and he worked with one of our StoryBrand certified guides on his messaging. Live like you're on vacation. From the second we land on his website, it's clear that he is a builder, but it's also clear that he is a high-end luxury builder. We can see that from the headline. We can see that also from the image that is chosen, this beautiful pool looking out into the desert landscape. As a consumer, I can pretty much determine a couple things. Number one, if this business does what I need them to do. Also, if they're even in my budget. Me personally, I'm like, oh, I probably can't afford Brad, right? So you're automatically able to convey information with words when done effectively. And he could have easily come out and said, you know, we're a custom builder in Scottsdale. But live like you're on vacation, that attracts those people that he's working with, where this is their second home, or it's a vacation home, and they have lived their life and built their careers, and now they want to reap the benefits and enjoy the fruits of their labor. This is that market that he is trying to attract. Live like you're on vacation. So the actionable takeaway here is speak to the why. Focus, when you're writing your content, focus on the benefit of what you offer more than your actual product or your service. How can you be a guide in your potential client's story? What are their pain points? And how can you come alongside them to give them the end result they're looking for? How will your product or service better their life? You're obviously going to need to explain what you do on your website, but when writing, always make it about the user. Use less we or I statements and more you statements. And whenever possible, I highly recommend hiring a professional website copywriter. Their jobs are to write in a way that engages and persuades people to take action. If you want a practical or like a good place to start, I highly recommend reading the book, Building a Story Brand. I think it's like 11 or 12 bucks on Amazon. It's by Donald Miller. But the story brand framework is used by some of the world's top brands and over 10,000 small businesses around the world. And he has really perfected the process of writing copy that is engaging and utilizing that on your website and your marketing materials. Second one is professional imagery. So we've all heard the phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words. What are the images on your website saying about your business? We as people are very visual creatures, and when we see sites with poor images, we naturally tend to think less of those businesses. On a website, images are not just decoration, they're not just there for fun, they can literally make or break your site. They drastically affect how long people stay on your site, the experience of the user, and in business, it even affects your credibility if you're not putting your best foot forward with your imagery. A site with blurry or low resolution images, impersonal stock images, or selfies for your team photos doesn't exactly convey confidence in the people who land on your site that you hope to book as a client. Investing in professional photography for your business can make a huge difference in your marketing. First, having a visually appealing site catches the eye and gets people clicking. It keeps them on your website. Your website is often the first impression that people have of your business, and as many of you know, you do not get a second chance at a first impression. Taking the time to get quality photos of your work and your team also demonstrates a sense of professionalism and builds trust with users. This building of trust instills then more confidence in the quality of work you do and factors into their decision whether they work with you or one of your competitors. Having photos of you and your team are important as well, including that personal element on your website, and putting faces behind the names of the company is a great way for people to relate to you, and another way to build trust. This simply cannot be done by using stock photos, which just comes across inauthentic and stale. Last, quality images are really good for SEO. High quality images positively impact the user experience. That improves the amount of time they stay on your site, and it increases engagement. Without quality images, people will leave your site, and you can't convert visitors if they aren't staying on your site long enough. So when possible, I highly recommend hiring a commercial photographer to get images to be used for your website. You don't have to do it for every project, but you can get a photographer and say, hey, I'm putting a website together. We need these different types of images, and then you can use those throughout your site. If you're in construction, you're probably already doing this, including drone photography, which is amazing. It's a great way to document project processes from start to finish and create engaging video content. But you don't always need a professional photographer if it's just not in your budget. Today's technology does allow iPads and phones and other devices to take great photos, but don't slack when it comes to the quality of your photos. And if you're getting your website built, sometimes just the size of iPads and phones, it doesn't scale the same. They're going to come across a terrible resolution. So the key is to make sure that your photos are high resolution, but that they're also sized correctly for websites so they don't affect loading times or user experience. All right, mobile friendliness. This is one that you've probably heard plenty about, but I do want to stress the importance of this because today over 50% of web searches are done on mobile devices. Each year, this mobile internet traffic surpasses desktop traffic by 3%. So now more than ever, it is vital for your site to be optimized for mobile first. You're going to be getting just as many views on a mobile device as a desktop. So it doesn't make sense to build a site that looks great on a computer, but fails on a phone. You're missing then 50% of potential business. I want to share a story. I was talking to a builder who was in Fernie, British Columbia. It's a vacation resort town, lots of skiing, outdoor activities, and lots of people building custom vacation homes. But what this builder shared with me on the phone, mobile friendly was number one important for them. And the reason why is they shared when people come to Fernie, they're on the slopes or they're driving around and they're seeing these beautiful homes and they're looking up on their phone in the car or on the slopes or whatever. those builders' names or the signage, or they're Googling builders in the area. Because it's such a touristy area with where they are, they estimated that their clients are 90% mobile users, just because they're already there vacationing. They didn't necessarily bring their computer. So them knowing that about their audience was crucial, because we know we need to spend a lot more time on making this perfect for mobile, even more so than for desktop, because that's who their demographic is. So important to know your audience, for one, but to optimize for mobile no matter where you are. If you'd like to do a quick test to see if the pages on your sites are mobile friendly, Google also has another free tool, handy dandy tool. It is called, I have put the URL down at the bottom, but if you just do a Google search, Google test mobile friendly websites or whatever, you can put in your website URL, and after a few seconds, Google will let you know whether or not that page on your site is mobile friendly, and with action items if it's not. So make sure to do this for every page. It won't, if you put your website address, it won't do it for every page. You have to actually click on each page of your site and put the URL for each page in there. But make sure to do it for every page. Excuse me. The fourth element is social proof. Social proof are things like reviews, testimonials, and case studies. Social proof is a great way to build trust with potential clients, and are another important tool to use in building a website that converts. Optimizely.com put this in a great way. Social proof works by tapping into the basic human instinct to follow the actions of others, building trust and credibility, and lowering barriers to making purchases online. And this is so true when it comes to making a purchase, large or small. We all do our market research. Whether that's reading a Google review for the local restaurant in town, or getting a personal recommendation for someone you trust for a plumbing service. We are all going to want to follow the positive actions of others, and these reviews and social proof lowers the barriers. It makes it easier for people to buy when they're able to see positive feedback. So common examples of social proof, like I mentioned, are reviews, testimonials, and case studies. Reviews are a snapshot of a customer's experience, usually on a third-party platform like Google, Facebook House, Yelp, etc. They can be very impactful in large quantities. In fact, 86% of customers rely on online reviews to discover and choose to work with local businesses. We all do it, whether, again, we're choosing a local professional for an electric or a plumbing service, or checking out the local restaurant or spa in town. Where do we go? We go to Google, and we're reading Google reviews. We read those reviews before choosing to spend money with someone. Testimonials are different than reviews in that customers who are really happy with a company's services, they're willing to go that extra mile and record sharing their full experience with the company. That could be like a written long testimonial, or even a video testimonial. And they usually go a little bit more in depth. If you've ever been to a website for maybe a general contractor and they have the reviews say, "Great job," not a lot of information to go off of. What made them great? And this is where testimonials get even more in depth, sharing the experience more fully. And then case studies takes it a step further. Case studies are a super powerful marketing tool, and I would say especially in construction, case studies, well, I can't really say that, the design world too, me as a web designer, I love using case studies. They really help to seal the deal and sell your product or service. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it goes even further. It's a much more detailed story, a full story of the customer problem, the solution the company offered, and results. It paints a clear picture of how you solved a problem for the better, and shows from start to finish what that looked like. Testimonials are still a must on websites, but building case studies are crucial, especially for high-end products or services in construction. So the actionable takeaway here: start building case studies of your most notable projects. For my home builder clients, this is what this might look like. Compiling project photos, including a written or a video testimonial from the client themselves, explaining more about project details, the location, some of the objectives, statistics or schematics of the project, and describing any obstacles that came up and how you overcame them. Again, this is painting that full picture of the project from start to finish and the stunning end results. This helps potential clients get an idea of what it's like to work with you and what they could also achieve, what those end results that they could achieve. Don't be afraid to ask for reviews and testimonials. I know it's kind of an awkward thing for us sometimes, but especially from clients who are very happy with the work that you've done for them, they would be 9 times out of 10, they're gonna write it in like a day, seriously. So don't be afraid to ask for them. The unfortunate truth is that people are more likely to write a review for a negative experience than what they have for a great experience. So make sure to follow up with those clients who have had great experiences and start building those reviews and testimonials. You can also do incentives if you're feeling nervous about it, or if you can offer them a $10 Starbucks gift card or something for leaving a review. Those go a long way, and building up those reviews and testimonials to use throughout your website is a great way to convert those visitors into buyers because they're going based off the amazing previous experiences of past clients. All right, number 5, clear calls to action. This one is super important. It seems so simple, but you will not believe the amount of websites I go on where I don't even know where to go because there's not clear calls to actions. We need to guide users where we want them to go. A call to action tells your users what you would like them to do next. If your call to actions are hard to see, either the color of them or they're kind of hidden among other text, or they're not existent, which also occurs, you'll lose those website visitors because they're kind of left wandering aimlessly around your site. And if you're losing the website visitors, you're losing a lot of potential business. So the key is to making the buttons and calls to action on your site easy to see and visible from anywhere on your site. So here's one example of what I mean. Right here, we can see, like, let's say the call to action is call now or request a quote. By making the buttons a contrasting color to the background they're on, they stand out and they'll grab the user's attention. So whether, again, your call to action is call now, get a quote, apply today, or something else, the user can clearly see and their eyes are directed to where they need to go next. So some real website examples. This is a local concrete company. You can see on their website those 2 green buttons right away. They have their announcement bar, of course, but these stand out on the background, and these are their main call to action. They want people to go to their contact page and fill out a form to get a free quote. So your eyes are immediately drawn to the top corner, but also including it here above the fold is necessary too, even if you have this. These buttons are all over their website, but it's super important to have that on the opening banner. You never want to leave people searching for anything. People just don't have the patience, quite frankly, and they're not going to go looking for it. It needs to be in their face. Another tip too, while I have this up, is making sure not to have too many menu navigation options. If any of you have been to a restaurant where the menu is like 20 pages long, at least for me, it's too much. I have a very hard time deciding what I want because there's so much to go through. Their nature is like that. You would think that, I think a lot of businesses think, oh, I got to put all of my information up here and they can go wherever they want to go. But it's information overload for your users. So you want to keep this navigation simple up here. The rule of thumb in design is no more than 5 tabs if you can help it, 5 links up here. Anything more than that gets confusing and it's too much for them and it leaves them to taking less action. They just get overwhelmed. So keeping your most important links up here, things like your services and your portfolio, are going to be the most important. Anything else you can use in your beautiful little footer. It's common practice. People know to go down there for additional links, and it's not taking up this valuable space. Here again is another example of Squarespace. It's the platform I design on. But you can see clearly that Squarespace's homepage makes it really clear what they want us to do. You have a header with just a few tabs for additional information, but their call to actions are get started with their service. So actionable takeaway, make your buttons on your website stand out and keep your navigation menu simple. Maybe you want more people to call your website, or maybe you want to increase quote form submissions, whatever your call to action is, just make sure it is easy for people to take that action and reach out to you. And last but not least, we're going to talk about contact forms, strategic contact forms, and finding the balance between them being easy to use and pre-qualifying your leads. So depending on your business and your own business goals and objectives, you might want to do either one of these. You might want to get more of a quantity of leads This is very common for, let's say, trades like electricians and plumbers. They have teams and they can do a lot of projects in a day, or services in a day. So they need quantity of leads. They need many leads coming in. Where then you have in commercial construction or like custom home builders, they might only do, some of my clients do 2 homes a year. They don't need a ton of people reaching out because they only need 2 projects a year. They want quality of leads. So the way that they structure their forms are going to be very different. So on the left side, if we're talking about quantity of leads, here's some of the things that you can do for your form. Limit the number of fields. There's been many studies where the more fields that you have, the less people reach out. It's just more time consuming. It requires a little bit more of an investment from them. So keeping it simple, name, email, phone number, and maybe a message. Keep it real simple. That's going to help you get more quantity of leads. Also adding a form to the top of your homepage. So if I could go back to like this, if you had a contact form right here, like call for a free quote or inquire today, and have the fields right there, that also is going to increase your leads because it's right in front of them. And then minimize how many fields are required. So if you have like a big form and every single field's required, it's going to make people less likely to reach out. Only require what you absolutely need to get in touch with them if you're looking for quantity of leads. And then, of course, make sure it's user-friendly, both on desktop and mobile. If they have a hard time reading text or seeing a button on a background or something like that with the form, they're going to be less likely to reach out. For quality, if you're looking for less quantity, more quality of leads, this comes into play when it comes to like making more streamlined processes and efficient systems, because you're looking to not spend a ton of time on the phone or in-person meetings or consults, except with people who are your ideal client and people who you know are serious. So when we're talking about quality of leads, we need to build forms that are thorough and specific. We don't need to have, especially in construction, you do need to still have those sales calls or in-person meetings because there's a lot that goes into those projects. But getting all of the information that you need to collect from them in order to give them an accurate quote or to determine if it's even a project you want to work on, be very thorough and specific in what you ask. You can ask things like, what's your budget, or what kind of work are you looking for, maybe with a drop down of residential or commercial if you're a builder. What's the square footage of the house they're looking to build? Again, I'm going from the home builder mindset. I apologize, but apply that to your business and what is absolutely crucial information to get from them to save you time and money with getting on these calls, and also just kind of like weed out some of the people who aren't as serious and haven't put thought into these things yet. You can also use smart forms to do conditional formatting. So if you have a lot of different types of services, smart forms are really nice because the form can take different pathways based on their answers. So if you have a question that says, are you looking for residential or commercial construction? They click on residential, then there's very specific questions for the residential client. They click on commercial, it takes them a different path for commercial clients. So utilizing third-party services or apps to build smart forms can also be a great way to improve the quality of your leads. Making more information required as well. And I will tell all of you right now, you're always going to get marketers reach out to you. Even if you have the best form, they're going to just go through there and put default answers in. But this is just to break those barriers a little bit. But making more information required to answer is going to prevent more of the spam type emails, and also get, again, all the information that you need from clients before they reach out. And then just like quantity of leads, you want to make sure it's a user-friendly form as well. So depending on what your business goals are, you will build your forms differently. Okay, so we made it through the 6 elements of a high converting website. Let's recap real quickly. We talked about the importance of having an online presence, how to get people to your website, what conversion rates are, why they matter. And then we went through 6 basic elements of increasing conversion rates and landing more business through your website. So if you're ready to reach your goals in 2024 with a powerful website, I kind of want to go over what that process even looks like with me. So the first step is the blueprint. We get on a strategy call, and once we work together, we really deep dive into your business goals, your ideal clients, and the overall strategy so we can build a site that works in conjunction with what those goals are and to help you meet those goals. And like I mentioned, it's different for every business because they all have unique goals and objectives. Once we strategize and get all the materials together, it's time to start designing, keeping your goals and ideal client in mind. And then the third step is move in. So you get the keys to your new online home when we launch, and you can have confidence knowing your website is working hard day and night to get the business and the results you're looking for. It's just a very brief overview. You can learn more about my business at KatlynSlocumDesign.com. A couple of my clients, I've included some testimonials from them. And again, it's very results based. So Dave is a builder in Canada, and he sent me a month after we launched. He said, in the first month since we launched our new site, I've already experienced more project inquiries than in the previous 12 months. Imagine what that increase could do for your own business. He said, I expect these numbers will continue to rise. I feel far more confident directing people to our website as a resource for learning about our company, which is exactly what it was designed to do. And then Joe with First Impressions Concrete said, we landed a 6-figure project we wouldn't have otherwise gotten if it weren't for our website. It's even better than we imagined, and it shows our knowledge and reputation in our industry. But now it is Q&A time. That is the end of my spiel. And I want to open up the floor to the questions that you guys have, because like I said, this is such a huge industry. There's lots of questions surrounding website strategy, marketing, all of those things. So I want to open up the floor to the questions that we have here. And if you guys have, if you have any, put them in the chat. But Audrey, have you been?
Yes, I can help there. So first of all, thank you for this presentation. Wonderful job. A couple of the takeaways that I got, and then we're going to go to Stephen's question. We need amazing content, professional photos, case studies are your superpower. For actionable takeaways, you want clear calls to action so you can guide the user. No more than 5 tabs. Holy cow. I had the same thing on Offsite Dirt. So that one was like blown my mind, right? And then are you looking for quantity or quality leads? So it's just interesting, you know, we go through this and we learn all these different things, but we're going to go to Stephen's question. And he said, it's all about knowing how much information is needed and what information will serve you best. Then creating the content. Most web builders do not create content. They simply manipulate the content that is provided. This is frustrating. How do you find somebody to help you design or create content? What would be your suggestion, Katlyn?
Yeah, and so this is something I have even had to hire out for my own marketing and website, because it is just so hard to do. And you're right, a designer's skill is not in the content itself. We kind of, a lot of times, are taking these Word documents or what we're given, and we're like, okay, now we have to make a framework that makes sense. But in the last couple years, I have really wanted to build partnerships with people I know are experts in this, because it helps serve my clients better. So I mentioned the Building a Story Brand book by Donald Miller, and there are the strategists and experts who are called Story Brand certified guides. I think if you do go and invest in hiring a copywriter, you can even Google a Story Brand certified guide, or I have my resources that I'd be happy to refer you to. But these people are experts in that method. And what that method does, it's not about information overload. It's about being really strategic about what do we absolutely need on the site that gets all the information out there, but then is laid out in a way. They also work with the wireframes and the frameworking of creating the content and then being able to wireframe it with the web designer of, we need on this top section, this is where that main headline goes. But then down here, we need the guide section that talks about how your business comes alongside as a guide. Then we're going to have a section right below it that goes through common objections. And so there's already a strategy there on how you lay out that content. But I guess when it comes to finding somebody, I would recommend a Story Brand certified guide, because it's really that magic of the necessary information, but the art of it too, of getting it to relate to your ideal client. And those people are strategists, so they're not just gonna write it. They're gonna sit down with you and have a conversation and really get to know your business, your ideal client, so they can custom tailor your business information to the people you want to be attracting. So my whenever I can with my clients, I hook them up with my StoryBrand certified guide, and that makes all the difference even when I'm designing sites, because I have effective copy, and that paired with the design makes for a website that really blows conversions out of the water. So I would recommend a StoryBrand certified guide if you can.
Okay, so we got two more. What do you feel about Chat GPT, the AI service? And then also Stephen asked, how much should be ready to pay to get the site up and maintain on a regular basis, like a StoryBrand person sounds like? What is a general idea or a pricing that our clients could expect? So first, what do you feel about Chat GPT? What do you feel about that and getting content? And then what do you feel is like an appropriate cost for a person?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Chat GPT, I've only experimented with it a little bit. And I will say though, I find it very helpful for generating ideas. Like with my own blog, being able to brainstorm ideas for content and then kind of get the ball rolling. And then I can put my own personal touch and my perspective and information in there. I would say too, if you're talking about Chat GPT for website content, that can be super helpful too. If you're really have a really tight budget and you're writing this yourself, it's a great way to kind of get bones there of like, okay, this is maybe how it should read, or if it's just hard to come up from scratch with something, but then always make sure that you're putting your own personal touch on it and you're not just using that, because Google, as this technology grows, Google's really going to be paying attention. They're going to know what comes from AI and not. Like, it's still, you need to still make it human, but it's a great way to get kind of your structure there, if that makes sense. So if you need help writing about our company, being able to write in there like, hey, we're an interior designer company in Colorado, and this is our, we work with these type of clients, write a little about using that information, and then you can get that structure and then tweak it and make it what you want it to be. The other one, the cost. Okay.
Stephen knows that you're not going to be able to give us a real understanding, but if you have some general guidelines, because I think content, Katlyn, we've talked about it before, content is such a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So, and we're all trying to figure this out. So sure. What are your guidelines? Like, what do you do when you're looking at those kind of things?
Yeah, so I guess I can, I've worked with a couple different content writers, and they definitely structure their stuff differently. My StoryBrand professional has different options. You can opt for either full website copywriting, where you give them every single page that's on your site, and you say, write everything for me. And they do every page. So like that could be 10 pages of content, 5 pages of content, whatever that might be. So I would say, like, let's just say for a 5 to 8 page site, to have all of your content written, which isn't, I don't know, $6 to $8 grand. I don't know. But then the other options that I see, I have worked with a designer in Minnesota who she offers day rates. And so I book her for a day. We have tasks. I'm like, hey, I want you writing my about page today. I need this section on my homepage tweaked. It's like $2,000. I think that's about the same actually for my StoryBrand certified guide, for not full website copy. But he does 3 hour-long strategy sessions, and then he puts together a guide, like a messaging guide, so you can really get clarity on what like the messaging you use for your ideal clients. I think he charges about $2,500. But what's really great about that, at least for me, and ask your web designer what because we all have those personal relationships and how we work together. But at least for me, I don't need all of the website copy. I can literally take that PDF marketing strategy or messaging guide, take it, and then use that to build the website. It gives me enough to put it out there. And then it's clear and to the point. And like I said, I think that's about anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000. But yeah, like you said, the price thing is so hard because you can find freelancers who do this much cheaper. I guess, I don't know. It's so hard, but I would say like,
I think you answered it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think also you had some really good information in there. when you are talking to your web designer, you can ask for the relationships. When you're hiring someone, can you do it at a job cost or an hourly fee, or do you do it as a project fee? So I think those are all really good solutions, and I think that's well answered. So I'm going to move on to Trudy's question, and she said, once people visit your website, do you recommend a CRM tool?
Yes. So I think this gets into I guess it depends on what stage you are in your business. And this gets into like, yeah, your own business goals and objectives. This gets into systems and efficient processes. So I didn't use a CRM right away in my business, but as I was growing and I wanted to streamline my processes and just get a little bit more organized, it was super helpful. I know for the construction world, it's even more important because their CRMs are also tied in with project management systems and those things that make these processes and teams and client communication much more streamlined. And that organization directly and positively affects the client experience. So it really depends on your industry. What if you're a smaller business and you're working with not that many clients, it's probably not necessary. But as you're growing and you have a more like a larger client base or larger inquiries where you want to be able to track them, track project status, track like the quality of leads and things like that, then I would recommend a CRM. But you kind of have to determine if that's something you feel like you need, or maybe it's like down the line when you grow. I'm sorry, I don't know like your specific business or where you're at, but hopefully that's helpful.
So very good point, because if we're looking at quantity or quality of leads, obviously it's applicable, right? And it was very interesting when you were talking about builders and quality leads, just coming from the builder side, you know, there's co-construct, there's
Builder Trend,
all of those are a lead source that go into a CRM system. So you're right, it's specific to your industry, and maybe there's another third party or some other use that you're using it for. So we're going to go to another question. This is by Dr. Victoria. She said, do you use chat box on the website you build? Does a good interactive website make email lists obsolete?
Oh, I have used chatbots before. I think you're talking about like down at the bottom. It's like chat with us, and
yeah, I think that's what
I have only used that on one of my client sites by their request, and I think it's not even a full chat bot though. It's like a chat that sends them a text, and so it allows them to do text communication, and they that's been really helpful for them because a lot of people just especially with getting quotes or basic information, they like just texting and making it really easy. So that was something that was easy for them to utilize. But as far as more in-depth chatbots, I actually have not used them before. For the email list question, does a good interactive website make email lists obsolete? No, because what email lists are great at doing now, even though your website can definitely be used to start that relationship building process. Like if you go on my website, you scroll down a little bit, you see a picture of me, and I'm like, hey, I'm Katlyn, and I'm holding a beer, and you can kind of like get a feel for my personality, and it starts that relationship building process. But email list, building that email list and then using it to promote specials, or like I used my email list to promote this webinar that was coming up and share updates, sharing industry knowledge or trends and things like that. There's so many ways that you can use your email list that I don't think a good interactive website makes email lists obsolete, because the email list is more the personal connecting part of it, ongoing relationship building. And I would say too, like with my builders, like custom home builders, a lot of times, like if you're in construction or again, another high-end product or service offering, there's going to be a lot of touch points before people are even ready to buy. And email is just another one of those touch points. A lot of the time people they're going to go to your website, they're going to get an email from you, they're going to see you on social. And a lot of these touch points have to happen before they're actually ready to buy. So having that touch point open and that open communication and relationship building is still very important, I would say.
Awesome. And I know just in her business alone, she's a doctor and she deals with women and menopause and really educating them. So there's a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of things that you have to explain and understand. So I'm sure using that email interaction would be really valuable
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
want to learn, we want to read. So going to Krista now, she says, I know SEO is very important and you build it into your initial website strategy, but how does someone know how to stay on top of this as time goes on?
Yeah. Oh, hi, Krista. I know who she is. Okay. Yes. So with whatever designer you're working with, you definitely want to make sure that they're doing the basic on-site stuff. So making sure your images are optimized and adding alt text and having your header, your page titles and descriptions optimized for Google and your keywords. But yes, ongoing SEO is like a skill and a service in itself. So there are things that businesses can do to keep up with this. I would say as time goes on, if your ideal audience changes, your location, service location changes, your service offerings change, or maybe you add pages to your website, just making sure to go through and update. Like, let's say you add a new service, adding a page and making that page optimized with the keywords for that service, making sure to have the titles and descriptions, the meta titles and descriptions updated. If locations, your service location changes, again, going through and just making sure if it says, custom builder in Denver, but now you're in Colorado Springs, going through and updating all of that. And it does take time for Google to process that. And then for ongoing things, there's on-site, like you can blog. Blogging takes a long time to get the ball rolling. Like you would have to blog regularly for like a year to at least start seeing stuff going on. But then once you do it, it is like a snowball effect. But adding high quality, relevant content to your website. So look at what, one of my favorite things to do is, and when I'm doing research for my clients is, if I have a custom home builder and they're really struggling with what type of content to put on their site, go to Google and type in, like, just start in your area, like custom home builders in Denver. And then Google actually has recommended questions that pop up that are real Google searcher questions. And then you can take those same questions and answer them on your website. And that's going to build SEO and authority with Google because you're taking what people are actually asking online and putting it on your site. And Google's going to see that, and that's going to help. And then, an SEO professional or expert's going to do more of the offsite things, like getting other websites to link back to your site, or place your business name, address, or phone across the web. That's called a citation. And there's lots of strategies. I would say though, content creation is it's still like it's always been the biggest factor with SEO. So the more relevant, engaging content you can put on your site, whether it's in an FAQ or a blog or whatever you do that is relevant to the people in your industry and the questions they're asking, that's going to be like the number one thing to focus on as a business. And then anything outside of that, that you need a professional for, there's other things, of course, but I'm just trying to think of practical ways you can maintain that. And hopefully that answered your question.
And so this is so valuable. And I think a lot of the people that are here feel that same way. The Google search and knowing what questions for your industry to ask, phenomenal. Like these are things that we have no idea about. So that
and Neil, sorry to interrupt, Audrey. Neil Patel is his I want to type it in the chat. Neil Patel is an SEO expert, and his brand is so good at giving very practical advice on what you can do on and offsite your website. So I would recommend checking him out too. I even use his stuff all the time, and I'm in the SEO world. So
that. So we're going to run into Trudy's questions. And if you can go back to the slide about your process, she was wondering how long did you typically start to finish? What does that look like?
Yeah, this is a very brief overview of my process. I'll leave this up, but process start to finish, again, it depends on the size and scope of the website, but from the design day start to finish, 4 to 6 weeks. But there is that prep work of gathering content. So your branding, make sure we have your logo and your color palette and your written content and all that stuff. And that varies depending on my client. Some of them It takes them several months. And so they might book me 6 months from now because they know they have to give themselves time to get that stuff together. Other clients can start in 2 weeks because they have most of it. But from the day we start designing, 4 to 6 weeks.
That's super helpful. Wow. Just a vast knowledge of what we can start doing, just easy little steps that we can take in order to make our website so much more productive. And you were also stating that you had something that you were going to give for free for our audience.
Yes, and I'm going to post it in the chat right now, and I'm sorry to not bring it up sooner, but I have a handy dandy little freebies page on my website. There's a few on there, and there 2 of them, or actually, oh, sorry, I'm like losing myself here. Okay, so on my freebies page, I have some tools to help you build a more profitable business. But if you go to that link, the very first freebie is called the 10 Things Every Construction Website Needs in 2023. Now, I will say, even though I'm niched in construction, most of these strategies will apply to any industry and any type of business. So definitely download it. It's completely free. Some of it's a little bit like higher end or like higher level. It might take a little bit more time, but other things on there are things that you could go in and log in today and like switch right away. And so I hope I give like a balance there. And it's 10 things every website needs. And then each one of those things has a brief description and kind of goes into that a little bit more. And then I have 2 other freebies on that page that you can feel free to check out. One is how to land clients fast with Google My Business. And it really goes into how to optimize your Google Business profile in depth. So take any of them, take all of them. It's all there. KatlynSlocumDesign.com/freebies.
I love it. I love it. Well, we are so grateful. It looks like we've got all of our questions answered.
Yay! Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope that it was helpful. And I did want to say, if definitely connect with Audrey and I. We would love to connect with you after this. You can find us both on LinkedIn. I think that's where Audrey prefers to be. I have more of a presence I'm on LinkedIn, but I have more of a presence on Instagram. So you can find me at Katlyn Slocum Design. I have both of our websites right here. But if you have any other questions that come up about websites and marketing or construction, or you just want to say hi to us, we would love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out.
And I love that Katlyn is with the microphone. The relaxed and the uptight. There we go. Wow. It's awesome. Well, we cannot thank you all for being here. It has been an amazing presentation, Katlyn. You did a phenomenal job. Love all your tips. Love all these takeaways. These are things that we need, that we can change our businesses overnight, really. And to know these in and outs and these amazing, details and information. And then you also have the opportunity to connect with Katlyn and trying to maybe use her services for your product. The wonderful thing is we're all here trying to build business. We're all here this on LinkedIn Live, probably another week or so. So we'll be rebroadcasting it. And Katlyn, I'm going to let you close.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it. I think that you have pretty much handled it. I just hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.